Good morning, battery lovers! Here is something that I actually am excited about, a battery I don't think I've seen before. And it's a Samsung SDI battery. And I know Samsung makes their own batteries, they're very rare, but they make them under the name SDI. I don't understand what they write activated by. Some people call this is a Panasonic battery, just because it has Panasonic cells in them and stuff like that. So I don't know if it's actually made by Samsung or Samsung SDI, but it actually says on the label, battery made by Samsung SDI. And since it's probably from China, we don't know if it's the battery cells or if it indeed the whole battery pack made from Samsung SDI. So this was used probably for an e-bike kit. It's just a couple of months old. But he dropped it, and after that it stopped working. There was a large crack over here in the case. Bien infallande Siegels and Lichtenstein. If you break the seal, the warranty will disappear, or something like that. My German is not perfect, but it's better than my Chinese. So he says it didn't work. Did he mean it doesn't work on the e-bike, or doesn't it work on the charger? Yeah, they're soldered to the PCB, directly to the contacts, new fuse. And here we have something that's broken. I usually go like this, I tape over the cover to remember not to put any screws in there, because they will probably fall into the case. Here's an indicator. It lights up 4 out of 5. The first one might be red. But this is probably just a connection plate, and this is the actual BMS. That makes more sense. That's why it has so thick wires. And just look at this crazy design. It's 40.7, 40.9, so it's probably working. Is it charging, he complains about? And 40.9. He cannot charge the battery. So it could be a faulty charger as well. Because there are no large damages in the case. Yeah, you can already see that the charger, the power should be lighting up red. So it might be unrelated to the accident. But it's 41.7. And it's not charging. So, do we have power in the charging port? Yeah, we checked that, 4.9. So here's an identical charger from another customer. I couldn't find any XLRs, and as you can see, the red one is supposed to be powered up. And it does not charge either. So it could be both a faulty charger and something with the BMS. Could also be that it's almost fully charged, but let's see if there's unbalance. Maybe he knocked one cell loose. Balance board. So this one is not just a connection plate, but it might be having resistors on the other side. No, I don't think this one has any components. I think the balancing takes place over here. Here we have battery positive and negative. Here we actually have different voltage, 41.27. So it was lying, not activated. Yeah, it's showing not activated voltage on the charging and discharging port. So I think this is a BMS replacement. It may be also a new charger. Let's see if it's one of the cells. And they are numbered 4.3. Maybe you want to see that. You can tell me what it says in the comments. Because here we have 3, 4. Yeah, it probably has split cell groups. That's why it's so complicated. 413. Yeah. There we go. There is so much gunk on these terminals. That's why. Hard to read. So now we measured all the cell groups. All the cells seems to be okay, but there is something maybe with this connection plate or with the BMS. But as we can tell, it's 2 pin for charging and 2 pin for discharging. So it's very easy to replace the BMS. However, we install the indicator. What you can do if you must have the indicator working is you can install a secondary BMS for charging and discharging. There is very little space for that. You can probably squeeze something in over here. They can still have all the connection plate and everything, and the indicator will work, and the only thing that this BMS will do is control the indicator, and the discharging is controlled by the secondary BMS. If the indicator is super important to your customer and they will sue you if you don't get the indicator, you can do that and try and slide a small piece of BMS in here. But otherwise, we remove the BMS. He can check he can check on the bike or with the multimeter if he wants to know how the battery is charged. So that's it for this very weird battery from Samsung SDI. So the customer was very quick to give his go ahead. So we will do this on video. And we have a small size BMS, but I don't think it will fit. No. So we will have to remove the original one with the indicator. Does it have a pushing pin? Yes, and it has a temp sensor. And charging port. And why does it have positive going into it if it doesn't have any outgoing positive? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It just has 10 wires. So yeah, it probably has positive in to have positive out for charging. Yeah, and this is just silicone they put on. So I don't know why it's damaged, but I think it's something in the connection plate. Yeah, it's really tight space, but we will make it work. With this orange and black. Black is battery minus, orange is P minus. Prophet 2016. That might actually be the manufacturer of the battery if it's not something SDI. But there's no water damage in this case, so we will go ahead. And I will do like this, that I will use this original GST plate. You can connect each strand to the wire over here if you like, but I will connect it directly to each of the pins. First I will do these ones, and it's very tight. So let's go and unscrew that. Yeah, really nice holder with the rubber plate on the inside. Good, good. The only thing, I only removed it so I will be able to crimp it a little easier. Not crimp it, but I don't know what this is called in English. Removing the isolation. So this one was going to the BMS just for charging and tell it what the last group was. Yeah, that's a good connection. Isolate. It's quite hot in here. They have a lot of heat here in the winter, but also I don't have a fume extractor. But it actually helped quite much with having a fan nearby. That way it doesn't blow into my nose, everything blows against the camera. So, there you go. That's why the image is so smoky. Yeah, we could have soldered these directly to the XLR and also replaced the XLR, but it looked to be in good condition. And it had this German marking on it. Zum Laden immer das Original Ladergerät werden. Only charge with the original charger. Of course you don't have to do that, but if you charge with another charger, you do want to charge with a 36 volt charger and not 24 or 38, and you don't want to use a fast charger or something crazy. So now the charging port is done. And the GoPro is running on battery and charging at the same time, so it usually gets pretty hot after 20 minutes. So I have like 15 minutes to do this, or I will not have video proof for you guys who doubt that I can really fix batteries and not just tell you that I can. The battery minus is coming from the connection plate and not from the actual cell, but I think that is fine in this case. And that was P minus. Now it's important not to mess those up, so I will start with P minus, which is black and connected to orange. Yeah, there is no standard for wire coloring, but yellow is very often negative for charging. Inspect, so that's soldered on both sides, and that's a big blob, so I really like this solder. It cools down in less than 3 seconds. Makes a good job and it smells good. So we have P minus, P minus, battery minus, battery minus. It's the first time I've worked with this case, so that is the kind of times when you usually screw up and there's something new and unexpected. So I don't know if it's flux or anything else on those, but I'm gonna start soldering. You can watch that little prank Andy did with my stuff. And we have 0. Yeah, we do not want the solder to get into any of these channels, but they're very well isolated, so. And we also check the numbers. There are some duplicates because some cell groups are split. So we have 2, that is actually 1. 2 pieces that says number 1 on it, but only 1 can be number 1, and that is called USA, where we have most of our followers. Yeah, about 10 or 12% were Americans. Then we have Germany, the Netherlands, and Sweden was like placed 5 or some silly. So go America. 4.2 and 4.1. Doesn't really matter, but we have a little more solder on this terminal. Oh, I don't want to short circuit that. So I have it at a 45-degree angle. 6.2, 6.1. They also have a screw going through that one, but it seems to be isolated. Seven. Eight one, 8.2. Come closer. Not seeing anything over there. And 10. We didn't need extra solder, so I think it's leaded solder. Yeah, this one doesn't display voltage exactly. You can see one is fluctuating a little bit, but it tells me I got the right polarity and no double cell groups. So let's see if we want to charge now. I'm done with the old wire mess. Everything is connected. Battery positive for discharging was already connected. We have a lot of space over here for wires and stuff. Let's check the googly tester. Discharge volt is 41.27, so that's basically the same. 41.26, and charging port 1 and 3. This charger that didn't have a working red LED for power, but it's probably on since the green one is. That's supposed to turn red when it's charging, and it turns red. So it doesn't really need that other one. But let's also check that it actually increases the voltage. Battery negative and positive. 41.47, yeah? And 41.49. And something's in the way, right? 41.5. So it's definitely charging. That's it. No worries for replacing the BMS. We don't have the indicator function. I really couldn't squeeze that one in anywhere. There's a locking pin, otherwise there would be space. Here it would be space if you like solder these ones in another direction. So you can do it, but unless he was willing to pay like 50 bucks extra to keep this function, we're not doing that. We're not doing dual BMS if you don't have to. So we're gonna charge it up, maybe test it, and close it up. So that's it for today.